Hey, good evening. How is everyone doing? We're back for our evening broadcast, in which I like to take the time to welcome everyone to another Morning Glory Apostolic Prophetic Center broadcast. And once again, I'm your host, Dedric Hubbard. And we're going to begin again with part two of It's All in Your Mind. It's all in your mind. And it seems like the camera's back up, so I guess y'all can see me. Um, but a lot of us, like I stated this morning before I rudely interrupted by the alarms in the hotel I'm staying in, a lot of things that we are contemplating or doing in our mind is because we don't understand the subtle power that Satan is inputting into our very thoughts. He's feeding us counterfeit thoughts, and when we begin to think of it as true revelation. So part two was going to just deal with God show me, because a lot of times we're so focused on trying to destroy others that we don't understand we're really destroying ourselves. And when we destroy ourselves, the way we try to destroy others, what's happening is we are actually showing ourselves the strength that we need. So we'll be back in chapter 3 again, so we can understand what's really happening in our mind. Verse 3 reads, God in his goodness had made Adam. He laid down a law for him and commanded him not to eat of the tree of good and evil, which is the fig tree. So we got to understand there's a supernatural law in effect that often dictates how we're going to live our life, why we will live our life this way, and the reason that we got to live it that way. And that is to distinguish between ourselves, between good and evil. What we got to understand in this particular verse of the book I read, it gives a description of the fig tree. It gives it to it tells the tree that they ate from was a fig tree. Now, growing up, you got to understand what a fig was. And a lot of you need to go to a grocery store and see what a fig. A fig is real soft. It's pliable. It has a little bit of hair on it as to irritate you, but not necessarily hurt you. So what happens as we live our life? God is trying to show us how soft and delicate we are to him. He does stuff to irritate us because it's going to come a time in our mind that we understand this wrong. You know, I often talk about my life, how I just did stuff because that's what I did. Not knowing that I would come to a point that certain things would irritate me. And I say this is wrong. You come to a point that even in living your life, you will do wrong and know it's wrong. You'll do wrong and know it's wrong because it's feeding your flesh. And for a lot of us, we have allowed and allowing Satan to feed us scenarios, assumptions, opinions, and direction that does not line up with what God has for us. And as a result, many of us are second guessing our decisions. See, when you got to second guess your decision, guess what? That shows you God went in it. Because the Bible teaches us the blessings of the Lord comes without sorrow. So if you got to second guess who you are in God, then maybe it's evident that you're not in God. It says after Eve was created, Adam told her the story of the tree, and Satan heard it. And by his envy, it became the occasion and cause of their being made to sin and being expelled from paradise. For it was by reason of him that Adam fell for the height. You got to know that you got an enemy, an unseen enemy called Satan, an unseen spiritual enemy called Satan, which means just because you don't see him doesn't mean he's lurking. The problem is Satan can't be everywhere like God. So Satan's job is to make you sin. But we got to understand something. It says after Eve was created, Adam told her the story of the tree. See, a lot of times when we get in relationships and marriages, we often tell people what we want them to know about us. We make certain things laws that are not laws of God. You got to make this amount of money. You got to do this for me. You got to show me this. Why you don't do that? That's not a law of God. That's something you want and made it a law unto yourself. Is that wrong? Of course it's not wrong. What's wrong is the anger, the rejection, the abandonment, the missed feelings, the depression that you get when you don't get what you say you need. See, Adam had to tell Eve that everything in this garden is ours. We manage this. But that little tree in the garden, God manages that. We don't touch that because that's the work that God needs for himself. And for a lot of y'all, because you don't understand you try to manage other people how you think they ought to react, respond, talk, treat you because you have no clue of who you are. It says, watch this. So Satan's job was to get you to envy other things that cause you to fall. All right, that makes sense. So just suppose for many of you in this season, Satan has caused you to disconnect, rearrange, separate, divorce the one that God had for you all the time. But because you didn't get what you want, that ain't God. Satan heard when God commanded Adam not to eat of that tree. It says God commanded Adam in his mind mentally and not by sense. By sense and openly. And Satan saw that the serpent were more subtle than all the four. So watch this. That serpent had to be something like a dinosaur, I'm thinking. We often think of Satan as the serpent, but from scripture, Satan went into the serpent. It said it was more subtle than all four-footed beasts. So we can understand when the Lord say beast, this was something big. Might been a dinosaur. I don't know. So Satan is really a spirit that went into the beast. And he played in him as it were with pipes in the hearing of Eve like an instrument, and said to her, you shall not die, as God has said to you, but you shall be gods like God, knowers of good and evil. See, that's why I tell y'all, watch what I teach you. It's dangerous for you to pray the same way. It's dangerous for you to worship the same way, because anything Satan can do to get you to think God in it, it becomes part of who you are. So now you done went to your cousin. You done went to mama. You done went to daddy. You done went to the site. You done went to the doctor. And they done went in their books. And they done went in their mind. And they gave you all kind of scenarios of who this person is, why you going through this and why you going through that. And it makes sense to you, but just because it makes sense don't mean it's God. It don't mean it's God. So now we fail at understanding what God may have given us is because we listen to something that may sound like God, be in God's image, but it's not God's likeness. So why would we want to know good and evil when God only thing is to provide to us what's good for us? We got to realize some of the very things we hate, maybe some of the very things we need. Some of the very things you hate about a person, maybe the very same thing you need. Why would you need it? It sometimes it exposes you, if you got a relationship with God, to what you really need, but you don't understand why you don't like it. And some things you might like that you don't need. It goes on and said, Eve saw that the appearance of the fig tree was beautiful, and that its smell was delightful, and she desired to eat of it and to become a goddess. So she stretched out her hand and plucked and ate and gave also to her husband, and he likewise did eat. See, Eve went to a point where she went from using the gift of speaking to change to making things change herself. She reached for something that wasn't good, but because the appearance of it made it look to be good, she partook of it. See, that was wrong with a lot of us. We pray for God to give us stuff. We take and we think it's God, then we start to take a bite. We started spending a little time. We started doing this, and guess what? This ain't what you really want. But now you stuck. Or so you think you stuck. Because now we come to the point, and they were stripped of the fair glory and glorious light of purity wherewith they were clothed, when they saw not each other's nakedness, and their eyes was open, and they saw their nakedness, and they took leaves of the fig tree and covered their nakedness for shame, and hid themselves beneath thick trees. See what Satan's ultimate job for Adam and Eve was to get them to forget what they were called to do. They went from being in position to manage the garden Now they're using the garden for provision for themselves. They're hiding in their workplace, which means they went from caring from it to using it as protection. And when they used it for protection, they are hiding from their responsibility. And a lot of us are hiding from our responsibility. Why do you think the Bible says, "Cursed is every man that hangeth from a tree"? Because Satan got into Adam and Eve so bad that they used what they were given authority over, they gave the authority to. They tried to let nature protect them from something God gave them authority over. And see, that's what's wrong with a lot of y'all. Oh, you depressed, your emotions everywhere, you crying, you trying to manipulate things to make people think something that is ain't, and you want, and you need this and you need that. It's because you don't want them for who they are. You want them for the provision that they provide. You want them for the comfort that they provide. But you still hiding in your hate, in your depression, in your anger, in your low self-esteem, in your lack of confidence. So it says the eyes were open and they saw their nakedness. See, when God gave Adam and Eve authority over everything, he taught them to appreciate what I make and how I made it. So here, now that they see each other nakedness, they can't appreciate who they are because they really see how they are. See, we could marry people, but they got a bad attitude, or we don't appreciate that. We could marry people, but they don't show me the affection I want, or we don't appreciate that. Or we can marry people, but they don't hold my hand like, or we can't appreciate that. See, what happened is that they went from the ability to appreciate God creation and the ability to appreciate themselves who they are to now saying, I see something I don't like about you, so now I don't want you. I see something that you're not doing for me, so you're not the one for me. And that's what's wrong with a lot of marriages today. Relationships, friendships. You overlooking the way they were created and you don't like it because it don't fit in the creation of the world that you created for yourself. Then God called Adam and said to him, where art thou, Adam? Nor, not that God didn't know where he was, but in a chiding manner. And Adam said, Lord, I heard that voice and I hid myself because I'm naked. God says, whence knowest thou that art naked? Hast thou transgressed the law and command which I laid down for thee, and hast eaten of the tree of which I command thee not to eat? See, what he was trying to get Adam to see, Adam, there's another voice in your head. Where you at, Adam, that's not me speaking to you. See, what we got to realize is Satan's job to get us to forget our God-given mandate, our God-given authority, So when he hid behind the tree, what he went to doing is now, number one, you neglecting your call. See, every time you get mad, every time you get angry, every time you want to cuss somebody out, you neglect the call of God on your life. So he's now hiding behind something that he was created to manage. And a lot of y'all can't manage the pain that you're going through now because you've been hiding behind it so long. You know why a lot of things happen to us at this present time and age? Because God telling you you cannot hide behind you any longer. He's trying to show you. But because you don't know who you are, you're looking at other people and you're trying to punish them for the pain that you're going through. You're trying to make them feel bad for abandoning you. You're trying to make them feel bad for rejecting you because you don't know that you're hiding in pain.
Yeah, my grandpa did. So I'm already in, but I was talking about your sir. Oh, USA for the military.
Where are you? And see, a lot of y'all don't know you using manipulative tactics. A lot of you don't know that you being used by Satan with subtle acts of discretion. But we just gonna put it on the record. I'm nobody's fool. Don't never think you getting me. Don't never think you tricking me. Just understand where out there, Adam, in a chiding manner. When I say something, I'm messing with some of you because I know the answer you're gonna give before you give it, but I'm just letting you know I'm nobody's fool. I know who I am. I know what I'm capable of. I know what I'm not capable of. I know what I'm capable of to do, but I won't do it. I know what I'm capable of to do and will do it. I know what I'm capable of to say and mean it and won't even do it. But I know what I'm capable of to say, mean it, and do it. Why do I have so many solutions for so many problems? Because when you got a relationship with God, think of Him. That's why He wrote the Bible. For every solution, for every problem that where we encounter, God already had a solution. So when you in God, for every problem that I think I'm gonna counter, I already know the solution. Whether I do it right, wrong, maybe do it a little right, maybe I'm wrong. Because why? I know where I'm at. I'm not hiding behind nothing. But see, a lot of y'all can't think like that. You can't you can't go to no psychiatrist and tell them the things I do. They're not gonna make sense. I don't have nothing up here. I'm legally gone in the mind. So what does that say? At any given time, maybe it's Satan using me, maybe it's God. But who has the authority to make that decision? Me. But a lot of y'all don't have that authority because you can't tell the difference when it's God, when it's Satan, and when it's you. You know why? Because you haven't developed a relationship with God. He said, I'm naked. What? All he was saying, God, I'm hurt. I don't know how to fix it. See, oftentimes I'd say I might be hurt. I say I'm hurt. I say I'm scared. I say I'm afraid. I'm ashamed because I refuse to hide behind it. My character doesn't mean nothing on this earth. My character means everything in heaven. What does that mean? That means whoever talk about me, whatever they try to do about me, you can defame me before man. But my character with God is what counts. That's why I can still teach how I teach, going through what I'm going through. Because you heard me say it numerous times. I said if I'm on the road and my son died, he just dead. I'm gonna go preach this gospel. If the wife ever leaves, she just there. I'm gonna preach this gospel. If my mom died, they just dead. I'm gonna preach this gospel. I'm not gonna stop God's his ordained call on my life to go cater to something that's not lifeless anymore. He said he came to give us life and life more abundant. Why would I go preach to something that a spirit ain't in it no more when I can stay preaching to something and give it a spirit so it can live a little more? That's stupid to some people. I know it is. But a carnal mind can't understand spiritual thoughts. People hate me. Sometimes I'm a little too spiritual. But I get that. But see, church done taught y'all you so spiritually minded you ain't no earthly good. But the word said keep your mind on things above, not beneath. I'd rather be spiritually minded and earthly no good because I don't belong here anyway. We're passing through. So a lot of us hiding behind hurt of abandonment, rejection, molestation, drugs. And we're allowing it to kill us because we don't see it's the pain in us that's causing us to act out to pain to somebody else. See, every time you point the finger, you do this, so I'm going to do that. You did this, and that's why I did that. You know what you're saying? I'm hurt, but I don't know why I'm hurt. Haven't y'all heard me say I allow people to treat me bad because I understand why they do it? But because they don't respect me, I can't tell them where they hurt at because no respect. Adam said, the woman whom thou gavest to be with me, she gave to me and I did eat. And God questioned Eve in like manner. And Eve said, the serpent beguiled me and I did eat. And God cursed the serpent, saying, cursed art thou above all beasts upon the earth. With the cursing of the serpent, who was the tool of Satan, Satan, who had instigated the serpent, was himself cursed, and immediately his legs were destroyed. And he crawled upon his belly, and instead of being an animal, became a hissing reptile. We miss that, don't we? The spirit went inside the serpent. The serpent beguiled Eve. So God cursed the serpent, which had the spirit of Satan in it. You see what we miss? He asked the serpent, why did you let Satan beguile thee? Which means that before the fall, the animals had a choice too. And for some reason, The serpent choice was to let Satan use it. How to know we made a choice? Because Adam and Eve was ordered to rule and reign, which means they told the animals what they could and couldn't do. So a lot of us cursing ourselves because we are using Satan to project hurt, anger on people who are actually covered by God. Ask me anything about why I do what I do. 90% of the time, I'm going to tell you why I do what I do. But that little 10%, I can't tell you because God ain't told me. What I just said to you, you don't even matter. So if I can't show a woman love or say what I want, why would a woman fault me? And that's the 10% of my life that God never showed me. That's because that's his understanding. That's his life in my life. That's his choice. And because a lot of y'all don't know what the 10% of your life belong to God, you faulting people for something only God knows why. You know how many women I done been around? Why you don't hold my hand? Why you don't tell me how you But that shows me something. Evidently, it's something in me that God trying to keep to himself. And a lot of y'all trying to force people to do something because it what makes you feel good. And if it does to make you feel good, don't you consider that flesh? You ain't in the spirit. But y'all don't understand that. Why would God do that? Why would God do anything? But because most of you don't know who you are, you don't know the 10% that another person might know. They might know. But because you really don't have a relationship with God, you shrug it off. I told y'all where all autoimmune deficiency, autoimmune symptoms come from. I can tell you how to fix it right now. But that's the 10% he gave me to shut my own mouth. A lot of y'all God can't trust with his truth, with revelation, knowing anything because you talk too much. Diarrhea at the mouth. Your mouth might as well be a butt. And you just... That's why God won't talk to y'all. He hate gossipers. It's in the Bible. He hate backbiters. I might go tell somebody, hey, it's raining up here, but the sun outside. Guess what they'll go do? Well, Brother Hubbard said it's raining up that way he at, and I'm out here looking at the sun. You know what I just did? I'm trying to tell you that you talk too much. I get on my mentees sometimes. I said, stop telling one another what I may tell you, because then just because you similar don't mean you the same. So you'll have somebody thinking God gonna do them like that because God did you like that, and because God made everything different. So here we see that the serpent had a choice. So if an animal had a choice of being used by Satan and didn't, why we who spiritual don't even know when he trying to use? I did that today. I was supposed to send somebody some money Wednesday. I said, God, I ain't doing nothing. He kept getting on me. I hear you. I'm going to do it when I want to do it. That's Satan. I'm being disobedient. Disobedience is witchcraft. So what I had to say, I even told him, I was supposed to send you this Wednesday, but I ain't sending you nothing. I got prideful with it. He said, boy, send that money if I take you out of him. You got to tell me twice.
irresistible pepperoni. It's our most delicious stuffed cheesy bread yet. Only at Domino's.
So here it says, and God set enmity between the serpent and the man, saying, he shall smite the heel of man, but man shall crush his head, and the food of the serpent shall be dust. God said to Eve, in pain shalt thou bring forth children. And to Adam he said, cursed is the ground for thy sake, and in toil and sweat of thy face shalt thou eat thy bread. For dust thou art, and to dust shalt thou return. And the earth, by reason of the curse which it had received, straightway brought forth thorns and twitter, and God drove them out from paradise at the ninth hour of the same day in which they were created. That means they never experienced paradise long. But let's go back, and he shall smite the heel of the man. That means Satan stopped progress. And as long as y'all sit around him worrying about who hurt you, who don't like you, who you made mad, who you got to eat, you stopping your own progress. That's why I can't stay mad. 10, 15 minutes, it got to go. Now, it don't mean the next day I might think about it, but I got to shake it off then. He shall smite the heel of man, but man shall crush his head. What does that mean? You got to know how to beat Satan in his own game. The very thing y'all trying to get rid of for many of you is the very thing you need. You don't know you need them because they ain't giving you what you want, but you don't know God may have given you what you need. So because we made our flesh choice, we don't want to hear a spiritual answer because we ain't gonna do that. We ain't never do. You get what I'm saying? And the food of the serpent should be dust, which means no elevation. When you sit around and you lie and think of how to get even and do people wrong, God ain't raising you up, so stop calling God name. You being a tool of Satan. In pain, thou bring forth children. What that mean? That means before Adam got the chance to reproduce himself, Eve caused pain to Adam because she knew the right thing to do, but did what she wanted to do. Now, y'all don't get mad at me. That's how most women is. That's how I is. You could tell them what the right thing to do. You ain't the boss of me. You don't tell me what to do. That's why a lot of you in your situations now, you don't know your place. Don't know your place. Because if a man says no and you say I'm gonna do it anyway, what you're saying is I don't respect you as a man. When you reduce a man to only be a provider, what you're saying is I don't trust you to make what's a good choices. What you say when you ain't doing what I want to do, what you saying that you we'll just say you're not the one for me. Curse is the ground for thy sake, and in toil and sweat thou shalt. Why did he say cursed is the ground? I'm telling y'all, you ain't got to believe it. Everything in the time of Adam and Eve responded to a voice. He had to curse the ground because they seen Adam went from being over them to hiding behind them, which means creation, if he didn't curse the ground, creation will begin what? To run over man instead of being ruled by man. So he had to curse the ground so creation can stop creating. That's why the Bible said they groaning for the sons of God to come back. They miss our voice. You grow 300 feet tall. You grow 20 feet tall. Hey, let your branches be this color and that color. We got real power. But a lot of y'all can't understand this kind of teaching, nor can you understand this kind of power because you really haven't sold out to God yet. You don't have the hunger that I have. You don't have the desire what I have. I don't care nothing about no Cavassier, no Crown Apple, no Anita Baker, no Jay Morris group. All I care about, God show me more. Show me more. And so for a lot of you, you behind on recreating who you supposed to be because you mad at who somebody wasn't to you. So now you got to start all over creating. God, I need a man like this. God, I need a woman like this. God, bring me this. God, bring me that. But suppose God already gave you your best, and because you didn't understand it, because you didn't understand you, guess what? You done missed God's best. A couple of mentees a couple of years ago, they didn't understand me. But I was trying to tell them they hearing a different voice. If God wanted you to come to me and he sent you angels twice, that means I was the best for their situation. But because you didn't understand the way you were being taught, you done went to somebody else and they're going to tell you that what I'm teaching is outdated and old. Why would God send you to somebody that's outdated and old? I knew right then. I said, okay, he jealous because he don't understand what I was teaching. Because I never teach the same people twice. I don't care if you is husband and wife. I teach you different because you're calling different. So I laughed, and what I told them, I said, well, I understood. Now I said, I understand. I said, understood without an understanding. Why would God send you the best and somebody else tell you it's the worst? That let me know you had another voice in your head. Some point in the see, sometimes in our life, we allow flesh to get in the way. Yeah. Drive around Washington. Past days I've been in my flesh because I've been cussing at everybody. I'm telling the truth, shame the devil. We're going 70 on the highway, and you just gonna get in there and just stop in the middle of traffic till somebody let you over. In rush hour, I say, you son of a boy, beep, 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 beep. I said, these fools crazy. But watch this. Everybody got a little flesh that when triggered cause you to be fleshly. The problem is most of you are more flesh than you are spirit. So when we allow Satan to use people, put thoughts in our head, give us a false understanding, a false revelation. See, that's why I'm so, what's the word I'm going to use? That's why I'm so strict when I say, go ask God. I'm trying to see you got a relationship with God. Because if you ain't got a relationship with God, I can tell you anything. I'm not trying to tell you anything. But just in case you want to be smart, talking about you got a relationship with God, guess what I do? I tell you anything just to see what you say. I tell you anything. A relationship with God is so important in this season that you need to know what to do in this world to come. It's only through God's spirit that he gonna tell you how to get out of certain places when they lock down the borders going from state to state, city to city, town to town. You're gonna have to know that you're gonna have to run through some woods, and I don't care if them boa constrictor out there. You got to know that you're gonna kill them time you see them. That's why the mind is being attacked. Ain't it strange that November being the hour of judgment, that God, not God, that Satan is trying to attack our mind? You know why? Because he's trying to get you to judge the people that God is really using to bring you out. You know how many falsehoods I got over my head? How many lies? And I just laugh. You know why? Because when I die, guess what? Everything you learned won't be around for you to learn no more. So while you focusing on Brother Hubbard, guess what? I done became your God. Oh, yes, I am. I done became your God. Now, God got to mess up your mind to get you back to him. Anything that you focus on that is not of God means is your God. Stop focusing on how to trip me up to do certain things or say something. Stop trying to offer me stuff with a hidden motive. You can't fool me if you try. You know why? Because I can't fool myself. But in that note, y'all be blessed.